Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar, What's New in ProcessMaker 3.5. My name is Summer Becker, and I'm the training lead here at ProcessMaker, and I'm here with Mauricio Cardenas, who's the product manager of ProcessMaker 3. So today what we're going to be doing is first I'll give you an introduction about the new features and improvements in ProcessMaker 3.5. Then I'll hand over the webinar to Mauricio, who's going to show you demos of some of these new features and improvements. And then at the end, we're going to address any questions you might have. So at any time during the webinar, feel free to use the Zoom toolbar to submit any questions you have, and then we'll address them at the end of the demo. All right, so let me go ahead and get started with some of the new features in ProcessMaker 3.5. So these two features are primarily improvements to the user interface. So the first new feature is the task scheduler, where you can schedule cron jobs through the user interface and the task scheduler rather than using the command prompt to schedule any cron jobs, which makes it more convenient to be able to track when those cron jobs are being executed. And then the second new feature we have is the case archive plugin, which gives you more advanced search tools through the ProcessMaker interface to search through and find specific archived cases. Now, some of the improvements in this new version start off with the improvements to dynaform variable referencing. So in short, this means that you can now use dependent fields in dynaform grids, and you can also use dependent fields with date time controls as well. The next 4 improvements all include asynchronous helpers, regeneration of certain features in ProcessMaker. In short, these improvements help the performance of ProcessMaker by being able to take jobs as they come so that though they are completed faster, speeding up the performance of ProcessMaker. The second to last improvement we have is the folder view highlight for unassigned cases, which gives you just a better look at some of the information in unassigned cases in the folder view. And finally, you can now attach files to case notes in ProcessMaker. All right, so that was a quick summary of the new features and improvements, and now I'm going to hand it over to Mauricio to do a demo.
Hi, thank you so much for being at this webinar. My name is Mauricio Cardenas, and I'm Product Manager of ProcessMaker 3. Let's start with the new features task scheduler. Let me go to my instance, and I will show you what is the task scheduler. It is a friendly UI to set activities that in the past we used to execute cron jobs that require technical knowledge and server terminal access. So an IT manager can set this configuration that were very complex, but right now in ProcessMaker 3.5, you don't need that. You just need to go to administration, select the tab of task scheduler, and you will see all the actions. For example, you have case action, email and notification, flagging, ProcessMaker synchronization, and reporting. In this case, for example, I will go to email and notifications and set the send of emails every minute. So in this case, I will go to, I need to enable this option, and I will set the settings for every 5 minutes, and that's it. Or if I want to set the synchronization with the LTAP, I need to enable this option, and I want this to be executed every Friday at 7 p.m. So I will set the periodicity, 1 hour is perfect. I will set the time, 7 p.m. till 7:30. Okay, so this will be executed just once, and I will set the time zone of any place that I'm located, for example, Toronto, And this will be executed once per week on Friday. So I will disable the other days, and that's it. So you have set your activities with a task scheduler, very simple, without any problems. The next improvement is the task manager. This is an engine that executes everything in background using jobs. Right now, we changed this functionality for the routing derivation of cases. So all the cases will be derived asynchronously. For example, let me show you this process. In this process, we have an script task that has a script that delays, that sleeps like 1 minute. And when you route a case, this will take a while this case is being routed to the next step. Right now, you don't have that problem with ProcessMaker 3.5 because all activities, all steps will be executed from the before routing and after routing in background. So if you have a sub-process, you have a service task or intermediate events or a script task, this won't affect your performance and you can still working with ProcessMaker without feeling that delay. So right now I will execute this process. And I will send this to the next stage and that won't take any time. So right now, this process, I can still using ProcessMaker, and this process will work in background, will finalize their activities, and will be sent. For the next improvement, we have the report table regeneration asynchronously. We have clients that has hundreds of cases, and the regeneration of cases takes some time, and that affects the performance. But right now with ProcessMaker, we have a different way of regenerating the report tables. So this will be done in background. So for example, I will go to the report table. I have prepared one here. Check, okay. I will open data and this will be regenerated in background. So this might take a while, but I can still working with ProcessMaker no matter how much time this will take, and the report table will be regenerated without any problems nor interruptions. For the next improvement, we have improvement referencing variables, and this is very interesting. Let me go to the designer and show you this process. I will open the dynaform. And for example, one of the improvements, there are a lot of a series of improvements here, is to create variables adding the name of the ID as base name for the labels. So for example, if I use a camel case type of names like test variable, this will be labeled as test variable. So I can use the camel case or I can use the underscore. There you go. So it's very simple. Right now we focus more in efficiency in order to make your designing very fast without any kind of constraints. So for the next improvement is the reference with dependent fields and grids. So we have here the subject field that has the countries. And here we have a grid that has a state, city, and other details. So in the past, we couldn't make this reference between the main form and the grid of the dynaforms. Right now, that is not a problem. I can set a country here, like United States. I can add some grids, and this would be, for example, Massachusetts, Boston, California, San Francisco. The last one would be Florida, and Miami. Okay, so if I change to another country like Argentina, it should be updated, right? So I have the reference correct implemented with grids. Other improvement is the dependence within the date time controllers. So for example, here I can set a minimum date, for example, the first day of this month. And the maximum date will be the end of this month. Okay, so this will apply to the properties of this field, that is the default date. So I cannot select any date before the 1st of August or after the 31st of August, right? And my default date will be the 13th. So this is also applied for grids, and these grids will have the same effect. I cannot select any date before the minimum date or that exceeds the maximum date, and by default will be set the property of the default date. So these are the improvements for the referencing variables in ProcessMaker 3.5. The next improvement is the highlight view folder for unassigned cases. This is very interesting because an unassigned folder has a script that is very complex. And when you have a lot of cases in the unassigned, it might affect the performance. So right now we focus in giving another option instead of using the counter for the folders. This will be implemented also for the other folders like batch routing, inbox, draft, participated, and pause cases. So you can set this configuration or you can use a mix of these configurations. But initially we applied for this unassigned folder that has more problems for the performance. So I will test this process. And this will be sent to an assigned folder and won't use the counters. This will be refreshed in some time. You can set this refresh in the configurations. And as can you see, is the folder is with highlight. So that means you have a case in the unassigned folder. The next improvement is the set variables asynchronously for mobile and the web application. Why is that? Because mobile cannot use the set text and set value, but right now we have fixed that. And we provide a new set of helpers that will work in the web application, also in the mobile application. Let me show you how this works. I will open the dynaform. Okay, I have the set of country, subdivision, and location. And here's my help. It is set values asynchronously. So this will be loaded asynchronously, and you will see how this is working in the preview. Voila. So this will work very good in mobile, and also will respect the asynchronous response from the server till it has its response, and will continue with the subdivision, and after that, the location. So that you can use the set value async and set text async as much as you want. The next improvement is the data reporting tools report regenerated asynchronously. This is a plugin that has a new version that has to be with version 3.5 of ProcessMaker. If you have a lot of information, the regeneration takes some time. And that was excruciating for the users to wait till the report be generated. Right now, you don't have that problem anymore with ProcessMaker. The reports are being generated in background and will send a link to your email. In this case, for example, I have this report and I want to report in Excel, and this will be sent to my email. So right now I can check my email. Give me a moment. And here I go. I have the email with the attached report. So the last improvement we have in ProcessMaker is the case archive. This case archive will allow you to archive cases in ProcessMaker. This is very interesting because it will allow to archive the cases you are not using anymore, and you require that information to be in a safe place. So we have all the information on how you can archive your cases in the wiki. The idea is to execute in the command line the workspace work and archive cases. You need to select the workspace where you are located and the database name, that is the collection of data that will store the information of your cases. You can set a start date, an end date to archive those cases from time, or maybe you can use the process. You can archive the cases by process, by category, by case status, because maybe you want to archive the concluded cases that are done, or the ones that are in the draft. That depends to you. And the case number, if you want to archive some specific case. The good thing is that you will have an interface to search those cases. You have a friendly UI to search all the cases you have, and you can review the information for each one of the cases. And if you want to unarchive it, you will have the option of unarchive the cases. So you can mark as the cases you want to restore in your instance. In these cases will be unarchived. So those are the improvements we have with ProcessMaker 3.5. I hope you have enjoyed it. This version is very interesting, and I hope you will benefit with all the new things we have in ProcessMaker 3.5. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mauricio, for your demo. So for those of you who have any questions, feel free to submit them now through the Zoom toolbar, and we'll get to those as soon as possible. But while you guys are submitting your questions, I want to talk to you about the upcoming webinar we have on Thursday, August 20th. This webinar, Introduction to Process Prototyping, is the third in our series about mapping processes with BPMN 2.0 elements. So don't forget to first watch the recordings of the previous two webinars on our website if you haven't seen them already. You can go to processmaker.com, resources and webinars to find those previous recordings. And then don't forget to make sure to sign up for this webinar again on Thursday, August 20th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hi, I'll review one of the questions, that is, can you run reports on cases if archived? Well, if the case is archived, that means it's in another database. So you cannot get that information in your reports. Once the case is restored, you can use that case for reports. The idea is to archive those cases to keep them safe, or because those cases are completed and you don't need to overcharge your instance of ProcessMaker with all that information that you are not using anymore. But the idea is that once this case is archived, your report table, if you're using a report table to regenerate that report, won't have that information of that case. Another question is, are there any web controls on 3.5? No, there are no new web controls, just the few we have in ProcessMaker. Is the task scheduler available in the open source version? No. Unfortunately, the task scheduler, no, yes, very sorry. You're correct. The task scheduler is available in the open source version, but you don't have the options of plugins like the LDAP Advanced. Can you create a report option to run using the archive database? Not yet. We don't have that option, but you can get all that information of those specific cases using the case archive search, but we didn't add an option to do that. But it is very interesting, and we will plan to have that option in the future versions of case archive. Thank you so much. Hi, do we have a date filter feature to view reports to select a report between dates before download? That depends on the structure of your report. So for example, you can set restrictions
if you use the custom query, so you can define that information. But certainly we will add a new functionalities in the data reporting tools to provide more a simple way to define the dates and handle more easily. Task duration for the SLA is only hours and days on 3.3. Do we have minutes on 3.5? No, but certainly the SLA plugin will have new improvements because the good thing is a plugin. The plugin doesn't require to have a new version of ProcessMaker per se. So we will have a new version of the SLA and we will add more options because you're not the only client that is requesting to have more options like minutes, days, hours, etc. for the SLA. Certainly that is an option. Other question is, I have a process where I am importing a CSV and auto-populated grids and post to a PM table. I'm importing 200 records from the CSV, but it is posting 125 records to the PM table. Any solution post everything from the CSV? I haven't analyzed that problem, but it would be very good if you can informs our team of support about that. We can analyze it in deep and we can verify if that is a problem with ProcessMaker, that I don't think so, but certainly that information will benefit us all. If that is everything, there is another question. Answer not clear. Example, I want to report for the last 1 week. If you use the custom queries for the data reporting tools, you can set the times for your report. But we will analyze that in deep because we want to provide a new version of the data reporting tools, providing more options. So in that sense, when you narrow the dates, you will have a report, you can download that report with the specific dates. Well, we don't have any more questions. Thank you so much.
All right, thanks everyone for watching this webinar. If you have any additional questions, feel free to email us at info@processmaker.com or visit our website at www.processmaker.com. Thanks again, and we hope to see you for the next webinar.